Alrighty then, here we go. Stone Roadie Show number 22, and we're on the air.
Welcome to the Stone Roadie Show. The Stone Roadie Show with Craig Reed. Craig Reed, of course, the most famous roadie in rock and roll history. And the last podcast we did worked out pretty well. We had a lot of people send in some questions to the Griff Martin Facebook page. And we got a lot of questions loaded up here, ready for another podcast. And I am seeing a little bit of bad news, quite a lot of bit of bad news, I guess we could say. It seems that Ronnie Van Zant's daughter, Tammy, has passed away. And we would like to recognize that and also send our condolences to the family. It's a very sad thing, and we know Johnny Van Zant was probably pretty close to her, and then a lot of the other family members. So we're very sorry to hear that. And Craig, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, that was surprising to me. I didn't know Tammy that well. I'd only met her a handful of times. She was a nice lady. My son Chad was very close to Tammy. When I saw it today, he was at work, and I called him. I said, "What's up with Tammy?" He goes, "Nothing. Why?" I go, "So I heard she died." He goes, "Well, oh my God, I've been trying to get a hold of her." And yeah, he didn't even know that her mother Nadine, had no name I know her by, Ronnie's first wife, had died just a couple weeks before.
Wow.
And I didn't know. I don't know much about what happened to Tammy or anything like that. But yeah, it's tragedy,
Yeah.
So
So it's new to us here at the Stone Roadie Show. Craig doesn't know a whole lot about it, and I see a lot of questions on the Facebook page about it. So, Craig,
yeah,
knows about as much as you do. Yeah.
yeah, she'd been married a couple times and had a couple kids and had a couple grandkids, I guess. Chad told me she's like 50, 55, I guess she is. She was 4 years older than my son Chad. He's 50, he'll be 51 in December. He said she's about 4 years older. Yeah, they were very close. My son Chad and Tammy were. Um, but yeah, that's like I said, that's all I know about that.
Chad said she used to call him her little big brother, right?
Yeah, the little big brother or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really close.
So our condolences go to the family, and we're really sorry to hear about that. Well, let's go ahead and get started with the Stone Roadie Show. And Craig, what was that you were telling me something about an itinerary that somebody had wanted authenticated, and you had a little bit of a story about that. What was it?
Oh yeah, recently I've had people. One guy, Bobby. Uh, he uh, want to know if I'd authenticate. Yeah, that's there we go. Authenticate a piece of paper that he said I was in C. Yeah, let me back up to the microphone here. He said I was up CW Shoals, and Gary and Steve and Artemis were in there, and he had a piece of paper he had him sign, and it was pretty cool because Gary wrote on there, he was kind of sloppy, and he said, "Sorry, I messed up." It was kind of cool, but it was definitely Steve's signature, because Steve's got that real distinct, when for the gains, the G in gains, it looks like a six in his his signature does. So it's pretty distinct, It's funny because I told him, it looked to me they looked real, but when I looked at it, I told him I'd write him a document of authenticity. So I put it on fake book, and I said, "Hey, look, this guy wants me to authenticate this these signatures. What do you guys think?" And everybody goes, "Yeah, yeah, they look real to me. You can tell by the G and gains, it does a six, and they go, yeah, there's a real, So I wrote the guy a document and put on there that I thought they were real, and all my fake book friends I thought they were real. And the guy called me and he goes, "God, thank you so much, man." He said, I've had this piece of paper and nobody would believe me that it was real, and now I got, documentation. It was so cool, But then, somebody had one of these itineraries. I think this is the same one, but these are the itineraries we get at the beginning of a tour. Let me get my names down there, But somebody had one that was JoJo's. I think it was Kathy Keeble.
Yeah,
I think
Kathy
she
Keeble.
had one of these. But yeah, they've got all the information, show information, who was on the tour, and all that kind of stuff. Let me get that in there. But yeah, that's what these are, and somebody wanted to know if they could be authenticated. And yeah, as anybody that's got one like that, these are real. They're everybody. Only the people that are on the tour get them. But I think this is the same one, except this is mine, and the other hers said JoJo on it.
So everybody that was on the tour got one, right, Craig? And I guess there's several floating around out there, and then when you see it, you know it because you have one at home.
Yeah, I have the same one, and you had to be on a tour to get one. Yeah, Jimmy Withers just got one from a 1975 tour, and he was asking me if it was from the tribute tour, and the one that he got was from this latter part of the year in 75. It was like December, and the actual did I say true? The torture tour from 75, that was actually in the spring of 1975 through April and stuff like that. So the one that he had wasn't actually the one from the torture tour. But yeah, I've been authenticating the things that if I know that they're real, and I don't even charge anybody to do it. I think it's real cool. Like that guy had that piece of paper, nobody would believe him, and it was really a cool piece because, like I said, Gary, wrote on there, "I'm sorry," it was kind of funny, but it's a piece of history, and I'm not going to charge anybody if I see something, they want to know what I think about it. If I think it's real, I'll give them a letter of authenticity and put it on Facebook and advertise it, and see what people say, and just glad to do it.
Well,
Other people have things they don't know that are real or not.
So if anybody has anything out there, let's see it, and you can get in touch with me, Griff Martin, or Craig on Facebook, and we'll share it with the podcast, and Craig can show it and show and tell thing. You got anything else, Craig? Any other?
No, if anybody's got a napkin from a truck stop or something that the guy signed, that they got a signature on it, yeah, get a hold of me. I'll put it out there and see what people think. Yeah, people really got off on seeing that piece of paper. They were going, "Oh, that's so cool," it was funny. It's kind of neat.
All right, well, I guess we can get straight to the questions, and I put a post up, the new Stone Roadie show this week. If anyone has any questions, and we got quite a few, like about 60 of them up here in just a couple days. And so I'll start from the bottom and work my way up. There's a question here. Did the band have any merchandise sales?
Who asked that question, Griff?
That was a Harvey Dupree. Did the band have any merchandise sales while touring? What products were sold?
When I started with the band, we had no merchandising at all. Back in 74, beginning of 74, I don't know if anybody saw that 70s show where, what's that guy's name, made the T-shirts that said Tad Nugent on them. And that's kind of what it was like. You made T-shirts and you could go sell them at the venue, But yeah, I mean, we didn't have any type of merchandising, you know. And if somebody would say, "Hey, can we sell T-shirts, you know, at your show?" We go, "Yeah, cool, thanks, man. Can I have one?" You know. But yeah, heck, they make more money on merchandising now than they do on ticket sales. You know. I mean, uh, I need to pay attention. Sometimes I notice Griff is louder than I am on some of these podcasts. Like I said, I'm new at this, you know. Even though I was supposed to have my act together after the 12th one, I lied, you know. But just so y'all know that we're not going to get political on there, you know. But just so y'all know who the Stone Roadie is and what I'm all about, I'm a male chauvinist pig.
Yeah, he has 2 male dogs, no female dogs. What did Leon say about his cat?
Alan, yeah, he got rid of all of his cats, and he said, from now on, there's going to be one pussy around here, and if it meows, I'll get rid of it too."
Oh, that was Alan? I thought that was Leon. That was Alan?
That was Alan.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
Alan.
he had Alan, what happened to all those damn cats? I got rid of all those damn cats. From now on, there's going to be one pussy around here, and if it meows, I'm going to get rid of it too.
All right. Okay, back to the questions. Let's see. This is from Wendy Goebel. I believe Wendy. She might.
Oh, hey there, Wendy.
She's that artist that.
Yeah. I've conversed with her a couple
Yeah,
of times.
she's pretty good. She did a drawing of Alan, and it fetched
Real
big
pretty
money.
lady.
Yeah,
At least her pictures are.
says this week I watched an interview on YouTube with Ron Eckerman. He said that he didn't care much for Alan Collins. Said that his jokes and pranks were just mean. See if Craig has any mean joke prank story, and why Ron would feel this way about him.
I don't know that part of Alan. Alan was never a prankster. I'm not a real fan of people that pull pranks, you know, but Alan never pulled any pranks on me, and I don't really know of any that he did. You know, Leon was the prankster. You know, him and Leon and Billy were always doing some kind of stuff, especially Leon, but I don't remember Alan ever pulling pranks, especially mean ones. So,
well, hey, Craig, maybe Alan shot Ron with the BB gun or something.
Well, yeah, I kind of can relate to his mean pranks. He would shoot you with them. I guess you could call that a prank.
Yeah, he shot Chad with the BB gun.
You could ask my son Chad about get shot by Alan with a BB gun.
Did he do that at the end of practice? He started cocking that BB gun. Everybody started.
Oh my God, yeah. You ever see? Yeah, he after rehearsal or during a break, he would have the BB gun stashed behind his amp, and he'd grab it and come around, and everybody in the studio would run for the door at the same time.
Maybe Ron got hit in the eye with one of those or something. Oh, okay. Brian Boggs thoroughly enjoyed the car stories of Craig and Alan. Glad Craig survived or is still alive through that. Craig has mentioned that Billy couldn't drive anything. Are there some other interesting car stories with the band besides the oak tree that you have to elaborate on there, Craig?
When Alan got that 1932 Plymouth, the one that I eventually ended up with, it had a small block Chevy in it, with 283 that was bored, and it had solid lifters in it, and didn't have a blow shield on it, you know. And knowing Alan, I went, that's not a cool, safe combination, you know, because he might just miss a gear, you know, at high RPMs, and with solid lifts, that you have a tendency for the clutch to come apart, you know. So I was trying to tell him about that kind of a situation. And one night at my house, I was at my apartment at Cedar Cove, right off of 295, and all of a sudden the door banging, and it's Gary and Alan, and they were kind of close to my apartment, and Alan's going cussing at me, and he goes, "You son of a bitch!" And I said, "What's wrong?" He goes, "I blew that clutch out on on the hot rod, you know." And he said the clutch come right up through the floor. Him and Gary are in the car, you know, and the clutch come up through the car, through the floor, and and it's a wonder they still have legs after that. But and I'm going, well, I tried to tell you. He said, you didn't try to tell me good enough.
Well, if you
Yeah.
ever wanted to test probably test anything in a car, Alan would be the one to test it. He would test it to see if it would break easy enough, huh?
Yeah, Alan thought he was a good driver too, but I disagree. He wrecked everything
He
ever
rolled
had.
everything. Yeah.
Everything.
All right, we got Walter Stephen Dunbar. I have one for Craig. Knowing Ronnie as well as you did, Craig, what do you think Ronnie would say about our present administration in Washington?
You know, musicians should just stay out of politics, you know. Ron, we were supposed to do that thing for Jimmy Carter down there at the time. What was it? The Jacksonville Stadium. That's where it was in Jacksonville, this football stadium. We were supposed to do that benefit for Jimmy Carter, and who was the worst president ever until the last couple.
Yeah.
Or the last one, anyways. This one, and the one
This
before
one.
you know. But so, anyways, so Ronnie said, "Yeah, I'll do it as long as as Jimmy Carter shows up," you know. So then, when Jimmy Carter didn't show up, Ronnie decided he wasn't gonna show up either, and yeah, that was unusual. I think that was another one of those things to reputation builder. Let's just create chaos or something. I don't know, but it was an ugly situation when he didn't. But he said his throat was out. But maybe it was, you know.
Maybe he just didn't like Carter.
It was right at the end of a tour, but we were doing something with Charlie Daniels, and then they tried to get Charlie to go on instead of us, and Charlie didn't want any part of that. But you know, that one time at the Jacksonville Coliseum when Ronnie's throat went out, and they only played one song or something, and Ronnie went off stage. Yeah, that was a riot. I mean, there was a lot of the band's equipment got destroyed by glass bottles at that time. You know, they had glass bottles. Yeah, that was a fiasco. You know.
Did that ever
Yeah,
happen again?
I took my wife and Chad and Judy and Melody, I think at the time, and Teresa Gaines and Karina all jumped in my Mercedes, and I took them all home, and and then went back to the venue, and it was just, you know, you couldn't go out by the stage. You would have got hit by a bottle. Everything was, it was a mess. Yeah, it was a riot.
Well, was that the only time that ever happened? Did that ever happen again?
Yeah. Well, there was a time, with Rossington Collins one time, people got out of control and ripped out the first 3 rows right out of the concrete, ripped the seats right out of the floor at some amphitheater up in New Jersey. It was crazy.
Man.
But they were just excited. But that was a Rossington Collins show after Freebird. It was crazy.
Wow, that's a wild crowd right there.
Yeah.
And speaking of wild, Adam Hartel, sorry about that, Adam, Would love to hear some Ronnie fight stories. And then below that, there's a comment that our friend Kathy Keeble was talking about an incident that happened in Muscle Shoals, where I guess Alan and Gary and Ronnie weren't agreeing about the way something was being recorded. And then they went outside, and then when they came back, Alan and Gary didn't look too good. And Ronnie said, "I don't think we have to worry about that anymore." You know anything about that, Craig?
No, I don't. I don't know. I don't have a lot of history at Muscle Shoals. That the only thing I know about Muscle Shoals is the Lynyrd Skynyrd were in some kind of a battle of the band, and they won that, and the prize was recording time at Muscle Shoals, and they got along real good with Jimmy Johnson and the Swampers, and did their first album there, and with Freebird that was 12 minutes long, and Jimmy Johnson couldn't get the band bought because that was, I don't know, the song was too, you guys have heard the thing that they were rejected by every record company there was, 9 or 12 or whatever, you know. That's what Alan Walden says, you know, when he was trying to get them bought, that they were rejected by every record company there was.
I guess till Al Cooper had his own label, and that's the only way they got in then.
Yeah, the Sounds of the South. Yeah. And yeah, but sorry, but I don't. The Muscle Shoals things. After I got with the band in the beginning of 1974, they didn't have a lot of his repeat business with Muscle Shoals. We visited it a couple of times, but nothing significant that I remember.
Oh, it was kind of before your time then, I guess that question.
Well, no, there are pictures of JoJo and Leslie and stuff with Jimmy Johnson and stuff at Muscle Shoals, but I don't remember what my job specification was at that time, and what the hell I was doing when I should have been doing what I should have been doing what I was doing. I was doing something that was fun, whatever I was doing. So it might be an excuse why I don't remember anything from down there, because, you know.
That's like some people.
You can have fun in Alabama, if you know.
That's like one guy asked a question, and it may be later on down on this thread here, where he was saying, get Craig to talk about when he spoke to what was it, Paul McCartney?
John Lennon.
No, John Lennon. Yeah, John Lennon. And Craig said, I don't remember. You were at Ringo Starr's house. You spoke to Paul McCartney for 30 minutes. John Lennon.
Well, we spoke to Paul McCartney, Paul and Linda. All of us did at Nebworth. I didn't speak to him alone. Both times one time I was with Gary, and another time I was with Artimus, and then I was with Gary and Artimus, all of them at the same time. And then they were all in the dressing room. You know, Mick Jagger and Paul McCartney and Jack Nicholson, and God, there was like everybody in there. You know, it's just, there's so many people at once. You know, it's just almost devastating to kind of remember everything. You know, just everybody was in there. You know,
not to mention it was a long time ago.
Yeah, and. Oh, whatever was going on, I was trying to have fun.
But if something jogs his memory, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
because that
But
does.
what was that question? I don't know. Did we follow up on the question?
I
I
don't
have a
know. It
tendency
might have
to
been
get
on the
lost.
last thread, or it might be in this one. But if I come to it, I'll read it. But we've got an Eric Bow, and he wants to hear a little something technical about. He says, "I'd love to know more about the guitars and amps, the settings and strings, choice of picks, etc. Also, what happened to the Strat that Steve had in the I Know a Little, I guess, that you built."
We'll start with the last one. That was right in the beginning. Ed used to take necks off and put telly necks on Strat bodies and all kind of stuff, but our stuff was when we had Big Blue, that first equipment truck we had that Lacey put together and put a 390 Ford motor in, and it was pretty cool. This is a 14-foot box truck. It's the one that the band you see in the back of the truck with Alan Walden and Kevin and everybody in the back of the truck. That's what we called Big Blue. But what was the question?
Yeah, he was talking about the Strat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And the I Know a Little.
Oh yeah. But okay, I'm back on track. Yeah, but there was a Strat body that was Ed's that was just laying around in the warehouse, and every time we pulled the equipment in and out, we had to move this damn Strat body that had been painted about a dozen different colors, and I don't even think there was a pick guard in it with a one pick hanging out or pickup hanging out or whatever. It was just in there, it was just nothing, and we just kept having to move it, and then Alan had this Strat neck, the 57 Strat neck that had a little warp in it. So I got a hold of that neck, and then I needed a body, or vice versa, whichever one. I think I got the body first, and then I had got Alan to give me that neck, and I and then I just stripped all the paint off of the body down to bare wood, and just threw some polyurethane on it, and then bolted that Stratocaster neck to it, and just that Grover gold Grover keys on it and stuff, and I just threw it together, and put a Schechner kit in it, and it was all the pickups you could switch them out of phase, or in phase, or up or down or whatever. There's 3 pickups, and just kind of put it together really, and put it in a Strat case, and had it with the other guitars. And Steve opened the case and said, "Hey, what's this?" I said, "That's just something I put together." And he plugged it in, and he was playing with that switching, and goes, "God, you mind if I play this on a song, and I goes, "No, I don't care." And so he played that on the I Know a Little part,
So the neck of that was warped a little bit.
Little bit, yeah.
That's why they named it I
Just
Know a
down at the
Little Bit.
bottom. Pardon me?
That's why they named it I Know a Little Bit. It was warped a little bit.
Yeah, like I said, I had just put it together, and the action wasn't exactly perfect, and that had a little warp in it. But for some reason, Steve liked it. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's something about the sound it did with the out of phasing the pickups, and I think that's more. I heard there's a little controversy that you can't get that sound out of a Strat. And that's why, because it's not a Strat, it's a Schechner kit is set up, and you can throw them out of phase, you could get a bunch of different sounds out of it,
Uh-huh.
I think Ed was the one that was kind of saying, "Ain't no way that's a Les Paul special," or whatever,
Well, it's the first time I think anybody's heard that story in detail. So there you go, Eric. Now let me see. Joe Mueller, if Craig doesn't mind, I'd like to hear a little bit about his childhood growing up in Ohio. Parents and
I saw that one. That was funny. I'm glad you asked. I'd like to respond to that. I was born a poor white child. my parents my parents came up from Parsons, West Virginia, and my dad was got a job at Goodyear at the tire plant, and we lived in the projects at Hillwood Homes. Had a coal heat furnace, and when I was a kid, I used to play in the coal bin. Just they were pretty poor, and they used to call it the project. So, but I was like 8 years old. We moved, stayed right on the same road, just about, same road, and moved about 10 miles south out into the suburbs, but. At that time, I still live in the same house here. It's the same house, but at that time there was nothing out here. I mean, I have 6 sisters and I had a brother. All my sisters, and they were all a lot older than me, so I had like 6 mothers so I had like 7 mothers, because my sisters were all older, and everybody always bought me something, yeah, because they were all working, by the time. But it was funny. But yeah, we moved out here in a city called Greene, right on the same road, about 10 miles south, and this is where I grew up. But it was all farmland when I was growing up out here, and I worked on farms baling hay and rolling sod for the Firestone Country Club where they play golf. The guy had a sod farm right behind me here. And I used to go back there and roll sod when I was like 10 years old, and drive a tractor, and just all kind of stuff like that. I went to Greene High School. High school I wasn't real fond of going to school. Had some issues with school, but yeah, I mean, basically right after high school, I got married and had Chad, and then got divorced, and and then ended up with, I was 22, and I ended up with Lynn. I was a mechanic. And I was a certified Oldsmobile technician, and then I didn't want to be a mechanic no more. My hair kept caught under the wheels of the dollies and stuff. So I ended up. I ran into Lynyrd Skynyrd when I was 22, and after that, it's history. But I still live in the same house. My parents were older, and I kind of just stuck around and took care of this place because my dad was too old, and after they passed away, I ended up getting the place off my brothers and sisters, and that was 1995. My mom died in 87, and my dad died in 95, and that's when I started living here by myself.
Yeah, speaking of moving around, like you're in the same house, but you were telling me that's how you got a couple of those itineraries, because Leon kept moving around everywhere, and he said, "I'm going to leave these itineraries here with you." Because I know they'll be safe. Isn't that what happened?
Yeah. I need to get I need to get those to little Lily. I got a couple of Leon's itineraries. That he left around here that I need to give to little Lily. Not little anymore, Lee. That's what I call him, Lee. I guess his name is Lee Wilkerson, but I always call him Lee. I've known him since he was just little.
Yeah, which I want to ask.
He's younger than my son Chad.
I'd like to ask him the question why he calls himself Wilkerson with an R, but yet his dad's Wilkerson. You know anything about that, Craig?
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
His name is Leon's was Wilkerson. Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody knows that answer to that, Lily, if you know it, let us know. Okay, we have Sherry Padula, who's she's the #1 Craig Reed Stone Roadie.
Hey there, Sherry. Yeah, I talked to her on the phone the other day.
she said, did the guys change over the years with success, or did they remain down to earth?
They remained really down to earth, except Alan was, they were able to afford things that they couldn't afford before. But they basically, personally, they all just remained the same. They didn't.
Okay. All right. There you go, Sherry. And
I mean, and I met them right when they were right after the Who tour, which is, if you ever watched anything that Gary said, right after the Who tour, it was a little bit of a shock going back to, playing in some of the places we played, were kind of similar to that they played before they got big, and it was like, have we made it or not, but they went out there and they kicked everybody's ass, man. I was there to witness that, testify. I mean, that's when Blue Oyster Cult and REO Speedwagon and Aerosmith and all those people, Elvin Bishop and Wet Willie, and like even people like Grinder Switch, I think, headlined over Lynyrd Skynyrd back in the day. I mean, we were traveling around in Big Blue, and that was that equipment truck. It was only a 14-foot truck. And then in the beginning, we had all that old Marshall gear, before we got the PV stuff. It was just basic, man. It was that was just coming from I started basically from when they were just a bar band, more or less.
So pretty much their personalities, they didn't change much over the
years. No. Like I said, just they got money,
Yeah.
It's so strange when you get this little money, your so-called friends want to act just a little funny, and then they'll blame you. I'm not the one that's here to blame. That's you, my friend, has really changed.
All right, Rosy Palms. Ask Craig how it felt. Rosy Palms. That's Jimmy Withers. Ask Craig how it felt being in an automobile driven by Alan Collins. I think we've talked about
that. Well, your asshole was puckered up the whole time. I tried not to let him drive. He never had a driver's license. I was always driving, but if I wasn't driving fast enough, he would literally take his foot and shove my foot down on the gas. And I literally have to he would be holding my foot down under his foot, but down straight to the floor, and I'd have to put on the brake to run into people. He was crazy, man. I mean, yeah.
Gene Odom told me that he would grab the wheel and try to turn it, and make the car run off the road.
Oh, he was crazy. He would do I guess you could call that a mean prank.
Yeah.
Trying to kill you. I guess that
might be one of those things Ron Eckerman was talking about right there. Huh?
Yeah. We're kind of running a little long on this. It seems like we've been doing this a while.
Yeah, we're getting close here. Let's see. Probably time for one more question. Let me see.
Not that it matters, but it takes a long damn time to download these things.
Yeah, Mike Anthony, the tension caused between Alan and JoJo. You want to talk about anything having to do with the Honkettes, Alan and JoJo?
Well, that's pretty common knowledge, basically, that they were more or less married on the road. I mean, that's kind of Ronnie didn't. I think it was too open. It was just kind of ridiculous. I'm sure you see pictures of Alan in the car with JoJo like right next to him, and they roomed together. It was just so obvious. I think Ronnie kind of got a little frustrated with it. It was going to get home that this is kind of the shenanigans that went on out here.
And that's why she got let go.
Yeah, I think that was kind of like a warning. You got to shape up or ship out, or something's got to go here or whatever.
Well, it kept her off the plane. I guess that's the one good thing about it, huh? All right,
Yeah.
Griff, you want to go ahead and wrap it up?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. It's going to be the end.
That ought to be about enough of the Stone Roadie show number 22. And if we don't have anything else, hey, Wicker and Leon, you want to call that a wrap? Yeah, okay, we'll do it. All right. Okay, thank y'all for watching the Stone Roadie show number 22, and we'll call that a wrap.
See you next time.